You mentioned something very important. There are strong similarities between President Lula and Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, both in terms of personality and life history, and also in terms of social policies and objectives. And I can foresee that in the short term and the mid-term, definitely the two countries will develop a much bigger presence in each other's frame of mind, so to speak. Because in the end, when you look at the map, Malaysia seems so far away from Brazil, or Brazil seems so far away from Malaysia. But I can tell you, for example, that I've never met a Brazilian in Malaysia who wasn't extremely happy here. There's so much in common between Brazil and Malaysia, much more than you could imagine if you look just at the map. In the last few years, Malaysia has become a very important trade partner for Brazil. Malaysia, in fact, we sell more to Malaysia than to most European and South American countries, with the exception in the case of South America, of Argentina and Chile. We sell more to Malaysia than to Peru or in Colombia, Venezuela, Uruguay, Paraguay, so that's very impressive. It has its ups and downs. Last year, it was a little bit lower than the trade in 2021, for example. So it does have its ups and downs. But I think that as the two countries get to know each other better, and as the two countries begin to invest more bilaterally, definitely new areas of trade open up. So it's very interesting culturally because you have a park that is the typical park created by a very famous Brazilian landscaper, but using local plants. If you go to Brazil, Roberto Burle Marx was responsible when Brasilia became the capital in 1960. Roberto Burle Marx was the landscaper who designed all the main public gardens of Brasilia, including the hanging gardens of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Brasilia. And he also designed a very famous park in Rio. He worked in several countries in the world, but the reason why I thought when I reached KLCC for the first time and I looked through my window, I felt like I was maybe in São Paulo, it's because of the park. Because even though the plants were new to me, the design of the park was recognizably Brazilian. because in 2025, Malaysia will chair ASEAN and Brazil will be the host of COP30. And I think we should start now discussing exactly how to work more closely together in relation to climate change and biodiversity. And what I proposed to the Minister of the Environment of Malaysia was for us to start creating maybe webinars of good practices between Brazilian officials and Malaysian officials, or even promoting better interaction, more interaction between Malaysian NGOs and Brazilian NGOs, or exchange of practices on how to deal with biodiversity and climate change.